All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, Rich Cimini dropped a pretty interesting article surrounding the Jets quarterback situation, but specifically Zach Wilson here. Apparently, John Beck is back. He actually went to the facility last Wednesday to meet in person with Zach Wilson, essentially like checking up on him, just making sure he feels comfortable and everything like that. As Jets fans, we all know who John Beck is at this point. Zach Wilson's personal quarterback coach off the field, and then was actually brought on to the staff last season to be an extra set of eyes and ears for Zach Wilson to help further his development as a rookie quarterback. And if we think back to that time, Saleh was a rookie head coach, Mike LaFleur was a rookie OC, first-time play caller, first time developing a rookie quarterback. There was obviously going to be a massive learning curve here. So from my perspective, I thought it was smart. I thought it was proactive by this Jets organization to say, hey, you know what? Let's take Zach Wilson's mentor off the field, a guy that's excelled in college, a guy who has played in the NFL. Let's bring him on the staff to, again, make Zach's life a little bit more comfortable, but was not brought back by the team for this season. So it looked like Beck's relationship with the Jets was pretty much done. But again, according to Cimini, Beck went to the facility last week to talk to Wilson. And there's a couple of really, really interesting quotes here. The first, because John Beck ended up talking to ESPN, he said this is something that's going to be a tough one for him, to go out on the field and not be the guy. But I think a lot of growth can happen. Cimini went on to say, Beck and Wilson talk every week. In fact, he got a call from Wilson on the day of the benching, November 22nd. In quotes, I don't think he ever thought that would happen, Beck said. Beck, a former NFL quarterback with a master's degree in performance psychology, sees himself as more than a passing instructor. He's a sounding board and a confidant. So as fans of football, as Jets fans here, we could all watch the games and understand that there's a lot going wrong, whether it's him bailing out of clean pockets or him being careless with the football. I mean, we could go down the list. We all know. I don't want to keep beating those points to death. But the numbers test, Zach Wilson is not passing that either. And now with this insight from John Beck, not only that he just went to the facility, but also that, it was kind of a shock to Wilson's system, saying that he didn't think that could happen. I think it kind of lays the groundwork for a major opportunity where Zach Wilson can learn and grow from this, okay? Almost use this as a tool to become a better NFL quarterback in the long run. Beck went on to say, with Zach, there's an opportunity for growth to come in a bunch of different areas in his game. I think he can grow mentally from this, he can grow physically from this, and I think he can grow in terms of his perspective. Ultimately, I think that's one of the biggest things that can come from this, a paradigm shift in the way he sees things and the way he's handling certain things. I think that was a really, really awesome answer from Beck here. I thought he was honest, but at the same time, he showed that, hey, you know what? I'm still in Zach's corner. This situation isn't really ideal, optically speaking, but you can use this as an opportunity to grow and become a better quarterback in the long term. The Jets didn't cut you. The NFL didn't, ban you from the league. You're just benched. You can now take this, flip it on its head, and maximize this time period. I think it's pretty obvious that John Beck is in Zach Wilson's corner. He's in his foxhole. I think John Beck is not coming out that. It's a great perspective. It's great insight because Saleh has to account for the defense, for the other coaches on the staff, for every single player, every single person wearing green and white. Saleh has to account for. It's not the New York Zach Wilsons, but to John Beck, he wants what's best for his friend in Zach Wilson. And I think John Beck could have, beat around the bush and, said some really, really nice things, but he was honest, but also nice at the same time. And I think that's really important. And then Cimini goes on to say that Wilson has been attending something called flight school, which is something that's hosted by the New York Jets after practice for extra work sessions that mainly include third stringers and practice squad players. I think that shows great humility from Wilson. I think it's a really humble approach, and it's kind of the approach that I wanted to see out of Zach, to see the bad performance on the field, to look at the stat sheet and see the poor numbers, for him to go out there and have an absolutely horrible press conference post-Patriot game. I mean, that was an awful look. So I think really this, you can only go up from there. And to see Zach Wilson, again, participating in these after practice sessions, to be working with the third stringers and practice squad players, that shows that Wilson actually wants to work. If he didn't care, if he wanted to, be traded to another team, I don't think he would be doing this, unless it's mandatory by the New York Jets, but it doesn't sound like it is. Cimini didn't say that it was mandatory. By no means. I think, again, for Zach Wilson to kind of have that humble attitude, I think it's a great approach to be doing this after practice type of, attending these sessions. I think it's really, really cool, to be honest with you. Really, really cool. I'm impressed, and I hope that we continue to hear positive steps regarding Zach Wilson. But, again, I think it's super interesting that Beck went to the facility, and I'm hoping for nothing but the best moving forward. Okay, so let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.